Hello, and welcome back to Quest for Life, Chapter 2. I had to make a part B to this, namely because we're about to dive deep. This is about where it's gonna get heavy. We're really gonna start unpacking this, and this is the part that I've been avoiding. And also, you can kind of tell that I'm getting over something now, and so like right when I decided that I was going to start in on this big part B, everything started acting up in my nasals and everything else. And I just, ugh. Okay, so getting into it, let's take a look at the map. And if you'll remember, we left off on the river Denial, where we wait for the daybreak and the sunrise to go exploring where not many have explored before. And as the sun rises, we're packing up our belongings and getting ready to get in the boat and sail down the river. A bunch of townsfolk heard from the man that we met before that served us the fish that we were going to head down the river to go exploring. See, this upset some of the townsfolks, and they paid us a visit. Great, here we go. And I have no idea why they're so angry. They're trying to convince us to help them with their plots or stick around and be one of them. No. It's where we decided to leave even quicker. But it's also where we learn that the two pyramids way down yonder that are actually built, well, one of them doesn't have a tip top, but they are built by, and they're the only ones that are built, okay? They are built there by the people who are the holders of the map. They're the holders of the power, basically. These people hold all of the resources in their hands, all of the bricks you see here that is needed for these people to build their pyramids. They are guarding the source. They're also guarding the gates, creating this illusion that there is no other pathway. We're like, can't you see it? These people have taken over the resources that you need to build these pyramids, but are also naturally forming. They're just guarding it and charging you for it, and have begun to charge astronomically for the opportunity to get the treasure that you also desperately want, and that I want, and also what my friends want here. Can't you see? They just want you stuck building these pyramids for them to power their empire with the energy that it creates. We're leaving because if you stay here, it's just going to get more and more difficult, and you're never going to find the treasure. You're never going to find the treasure anyway. You forgot to read the fine print that's on the welcome sign. See here? Read the fine print. See, it's like the frog in the boiling pot. First, they take the bricks, and then you are required to have those bricks to build these pyramids in order to get the map for the treasure. Now, they've got you in their game, and they're all like arguing with us. Like, how could you say this is a game? You guys are crazy. You can't take our boat to go down there. So now it's getting like real serious. I'm like, nah, hear me out. Okay, if I get land here, they're going to keep raising the prices of these bricks. And the people furthest down the river that have to travel so far and have to pay so much anyways for it are going to not even be able to afford to build their pyramids any higher anyways. It's almost like, I don't want to, should I say it? It's like you're the freest slaves. You're unaware that you're giving your money back to these people. You earn the money from them, and then you give it back to them for this illusion of your life, or the illusion of finding this treasure. And soon it's just going to be unaffordable. The people at the end of the river already know this. That's why many have left to the land of no questions. They spend their whole lives and generations trying to build these pyramids. And soon there's just not going to be enough time for yourself. All the time that you have is going to go into building these pyramids. There's not going to be any time for anything else or any energy, because they've got you spending all of your creative power, all of your wonderful artistic energy, your authentic self is being shoved down in order to build this empire for them. But what's really in it for you? You're told it's treasure. We're told our whole lives that's what we need. But what are you really willing to lose to gain it? And how much are you willing to pay? So now, zooming out, this is kind of where we sift the wheat. After we do this sifting, we'll just be going and heading down the river, and I'll just start making points and just pointing out here, be like, and over here we have if you look to your right, we'll see a this, and we'll just be like, okay, noted. Going down the river on your left now, you'll take a look and you'll see out their side of your shoulder this. Okay, noted, until we get to the end. So these people were saying you can't go. There's no gate down there. There's nothing past that. Other than that, you're going through the land of no questions. No, no, thank you. I'm listening to that guy who gave me a piece of his map, and he witnessed a door there where nobody else was able to see one before. And many have maybe gone down there, but they're just not knowing what to look for, or by chance haven't seen it. This guy saw it. I see it on this map, and I know that what he witnessed is true, and what is written down here. Okay, I see it. I'm going to follow it down, and I'm going to see for myself. So now zooming out, there's a lot to unpack here. But let's just talk about this. So what does these pyramids represent? It was quite obviously one of them is quite obvious with the government and the pyramid that we are building now. Which isn't actually a physical pyramid, is it? We don't see it, but we are building it. We are told to build it. The other one is what I'd like to get at is this is the hierarchy of needs, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So the idea is at the very top, you get your fully actualized, happiest, most best self. Some might even argue enlightenment, nirvana, your most woke. The bottom tiers are survival. So the very, very bottom that we're seeing here is survival, food, water, shelter. And then we're getting up to the next level is safety and belonging. So we're starting off very like survival, very physical needs, whatever your body needs to function type of situation. These are the lower levels down the river that people are building. And they just can't get any higher. And completely stuck on. Then as we're rising up this pyramid, we're getting into more of the psychological needs being met. So we have our physical needs being met, and then we have our psychological needs being met. When our physical and psychological needs are met, we are able to dream and go after our dreams. In survival mode, all you can think about is survival. You're not really thinking about much of tomorrow. But once you're out of survival, you can begin to dream. And dream about what you really, really want as an individual, which rises us up to that next level. So you don't have to worry about food, water, shelter, friends, safety, if you're safe, if you're well taken care of, if you've got community, if you've got love. And it is this sort of conglomeration, this recipe that leads us to going after our dreams and then believing that we can get out of these lower levels and achieve anything, and that we actually do, that we're living in our dreams, we're making money doing what we love. So as you'll see in this version that I have written some notes on, it's sort of my view on socioeconomic status and the Maslow's hierarchy of needs and the ability to climb up it. I would say that 99% of the population in the first and second world fall in the categories of low to middle class, that only 1% make it to the actual tippy top. Excuse me, only maybe like 0.5% make it to the very tippy top. Because you'll notice I've drawn a line here and not at the tippy top. Because only like half of these people that make it to the upper level make it to the actual tippy top, and the other half, it's not quite there. They're not living within their dream. There's something missing. What is that missing thing? Well, maybe they're living in their dream, but the idea is that something is missing. And I'll get to that in a little bit here if you stick around. There's something missing. They're not living within their dream or their happiness. Like I said before, it's like they chased the treasure, they got to the end and realized it's not fulfilling. So in these groups of people, we have the people who dream but aren't willing to put forth the activation energy. And maybe that's because you're burnt out. You're so burnt out doing everything else that there isn't any energy. But boy, would you like it to be different. And I know how it's like to be homeless. It takes a lot of work, actually. And it takes a lot of work to pull yourself out of that situation. Some people have just sunk so low and they just have given up, or they're being held down by substances and other things. But, instead of going to the land of no questions, and just like giving up, there's the middle class people who maybe they dream a little bit, but they're so focused, we kind of put our dreams on hold. Real world, like these are all ridiculously real things, but they have completely shoved their dreams off in exchange for what is deemed realistic. I mean, that's what I've done. That's what I've done up until this point that we're at right now. Now, where the real magic happens is where you dream and you're willing to put forth that activation energy. You're willing to go after it beyond all odds. You've taken a look at what your real obstacles are, which means you've looked at all the things that you perceive as stopping you, and you've separated your excuses from your actual obstacles, created a plan of action, and executed until you bust through that gate that too many people, like the lower class and the middle class, tell you doesn't exist. Because they've given up and gone to the land of no questions, or they're still trying to work on finding this treasure, doing what they're doing. I mean, unless you're born into wealth and that's your only dream, like you only care about material possessions, you only care about this material world, you don't care about what's going on in the world, you could care less, and that you have all the money and all the things that you need, and you're good, and you're at the tippy top. You have no problem living and dying for status and money and things that can never come with you. Do they really hold the map to the treasure? No, they don't. And the only thing keeping these people from going out there and finding it themselves is simply fear. In fact, they haven't the slightest clue where the actual treasure even exists. But they know the direction that it's in, and so they've guarded that gate. He's like a little troll. I can see him off in the distance. He's been collecting an astronomical amount of money from people. And we already have a gate pass. And we see people lining up. And he's like, hey, you got to pay me to get in there, to get the admission fee. And I'm like, actually, I already have a ticket. And it was free. It was given to me. And really, honestly, if, you guys couldn't afford this anyways. It was given to me. Even if you wanted to buy one of these, you can't. You would never be able to afford it. And the troll just had no business being there, but he saw an opportunity, and he's been lining up telling people, this is a lot of money. So even if you did see the gate, you're thinking, I don't have enough money. I have to get a ticket. And before I get into what's missing, let's question what's missing for all the rest of us, for the 99.5% of us. So before we dive any deeper, I would like to do the sifting now. If you are a person from the land of no questions, if you are the 0.5% at the tippy top, if you are satisfied with this system, if you want to be some of the angry townspeople coming after us that are on the quest for life, who are looking for that door, that gate, without even having a complete map, and you're one of these people that wants to defend the system and wants to defend all of this, and you tell me that this is the way that things are and that things will never change, I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to these kinds of people. I'm not. So you can check out. You can exit. This isn't for you. I'm like, no, not talking to you. Goodbye. I'm hoping to hear the door slam on the way out, you guys. I'm talking to the people who are listening to the witness, saying that there is a way out of here. There most certainly is. Amongst all the chatter of all of the townspeople telling us, either from the land of no questions or the people who are in this sort of illusion, that this is it, amongst all that chatter, that you know that there's something else, and you are unsatisfied in this moment. It doesn't matter if you've gotten almost there to the top or you're at the very bottom. I'm talking to you. 3 times I stated. And this is the final curtain call. I am calling you to the front. See, I don't have time to entertain anybody else in the audience. We've got our curtain call and we're standing on stage now. And anybody out there This ain't the time, nor the season, nor the hour, nor the minute for me to be casting myself in that direction. The cast is already on the stage. Behind the scenes, most of them. And for those who are on the stage, you're gonna want to stick around, because I'm going to tell you why it's not the time, nor the season, nor the hour. And it is my intention to swiftly make these points by the end of the river ride, where we end our trip down Denial. Denial ends, and that's where the narrow hidden gate is, and the narrow road, in which we're told that it only leads to a whirlpool to the abyss. I guess we'll find out, won't we? And we'll be on our way to doing so in chapter 3.